The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Angela Lagunzad. Senator Rafi Tulfo wants a total deployment ban to Kuwait following Ranara's death. Tulfo said the proposed move would send a strong message to the Middle Eastern country. He added that the Philippine government should demand Kuwait's compliance to certain conditions. The senator also called for a tighter screening process for OFWs to prevent cases of abuse.
Ang aking pong agad suggestion is to send a very strong message which is total deployment ban. And then after the total deployment ban, that's the only time na we can sit down with them sa bilateral talks pero on our terms. Meron tayong mga kondisyones na ibibigay sa kanila. Kung gusto nila ng ating OFW, sumunod sila dun sa kondisyones natin.
At the lower chamber, several concerns were raised on revived efforts to amend the Constitution. Marian Enriquez with the report.
And the deliberation of the pending measures.
Is it time to amend the Constitution? If so, how? These were the initial questions of members of the House Committee on Constitutional Amendments. 5 measures were filed before the lower house, pushing for a constitutional convention to make amendments in the 1987 Constitution. Delegates will be elected from every legislative district to propose amendments. For former Supreme Court Associate Justice Vicente Mendoza, there's an urgent need to amend the Constitution due to the amendment clause in Article 17 being very ambiguous. It does not state if the 2 houses of Congress must sit jointly or separately, or vote as one or not in a constituent assembly or constitutional convention.
This has been a problem since the 1987 Constitution, Mr. Chairman, and it has not been resolved. You make that ambiguous. You make it difficult for people to amend the Constitution. It lacks the details. What do you have? You might have a revolution.
Mendoza says the amendment clause is an essential part of the Constitution. But for attorney Christian Monsod, who was one of the framers of the Charter, the Constitution is not the problem.
The Constitution, Your Honors, is not the problem. It is part of the solution. Why don't you pass those first? And then let's see whether they work and won't need any change in the Constitution anymore.
Monsod warned that if the phrase "unless otherwise provided by law" is inserted to loosen restrictive economic provisions, this will make legislators too powerful by allowing them to propose changes just by passing regular laws without the need for a vote by the Filipino people through a plebiscite.
The door is open wider to transactional legislation at which corrupt politicians and greedy business are very adept.
But for attorney Adolfo Azcuna, the economic policies should be adjustable to the needs of the country, especially since it has been 36 years since the Constitution was made.
We need foreign investment in order to recover from the twin impact of inflation and the pandemic. And yet we are constrained by economic policies that are not meant to last 36 years.
Constitutional Amendments Panel Chairman Rufus Rodriguez meanwhile said that they will visit different parts of the country to hold public consultations on the matter. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Angela Lagunzad. One expert is warning the public against lending applications which publicly shame borrowers. More details in Yeda Pascual's report.
Money is as easy as 1, 2, 3. This is what digital lending applications offer to Pinoys who are in immediate need for cash. Compared to traditional banks, lending apps often involve simpler requirements. All you need is a smartphone and internet access, and you can start processing your online loan application. With the push of a button, you can just upload documents and files instead of submitting them personally. But the question is, are these platforms safe to use? One downside is, unlike banks, some online lenders resort to unconventional means to retrieve the money they lend.
Ang dumalabas na collateral para makasingil sila ay yung reputasyon ng tao. Pagka hindi raw sila nakapagbayad, ina-access yung phone book nila, tapos pinapahiya sila sa kanilang mga phone book contacts. So yun yung karamihan na allegation na kukuha natin.
That's why the National Privacy Commission has released a set of guidelines to help the public avoid intimidation and harassment from online lenders. The amended guidelines prohibit lenders from processing borrowers' personal mobile phone information, including access to their contacts. Under the Data Privacy Act of 2012, unauthorized online lenders could face up to 6 years imprisonment and fines of up to 4 million pesos.
Besides on, last year, nilabas ng NPC ang Circular on Administrative Fine. So iba pa po ito sa criminal penalties. Yung administrative fine as high as 5 million. So may fine ka na 5 million, pwede pang mag-proceed sa criminal prosecution na may penalty ng 4 million and 6 years imprisonment.
Despite the sanctions imposed, the NPC reminds consumers to always conduct background checks before trusting loan companies. Mobile journalist Yeda Pascual, we are One News.
Let's now take a quick look at other stories we're watching. President Bongbong Marcos is invited to the crowning of King Charles III in the UK in May. He is also set to travel to France in June to visit his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron. A magnitude 5.5 earthquake jolted eastern Samar and nearby areas at around 4 a.m. today. PHIVOLCS warns of possible aftershocks, although major damage was not expected. And another round of increase in the prices of petroleum products is expected next week. Unioil sees gasoline going up to 1 peso and 40 centavos a liter and diesel by at least 80 centavos. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Angela Lagunzad. We are One News.